All right, good evening. Welcome to the very first market update report for 2024. It's now February 2nd. So, what we're going to be going over today is a little bit about how the market is doing in the Houston area and the greater Houston area. We're going to look at some statistics of how we did last year. Market updates are published by our local MLS on the second week of every month. So there'll actually be a new market update that will come out next week. So we're going to be looking at how we ended out 2023. We're going to look at a snapshot of where we are in these first few weeks of the year. My whole goal here is to give you insight into the Houston market as you and your family are making plans for maybe where you want to move to new areas, or maybe you're considering making Houston your new home and you're wanting to learn a little bit more in detail how things are going here as you're making those plans. So my name is Nick LaPalamento. I'm with the Bridge Group. If you ever want to reach out and have a conversation with me directly, you can either leave a comment and I'll be able to see it and I'll reply to them live. So we'll definitely have some time for Q&A for anybody that's joining us. But you can also contact me directly at my phone number right here on the banner. Feel free to send me a text message, give me a call, shoot me an email. I'll have more information in the description as well. And you can also schedule a Zoom call with me. And I love to sit down with people as they're in that research phase, kind of try to figure out what the next steps are to help give them guidance and direction and make a smooth move to Houston or within Houston and the surrounding areas. So let's hop right into it as we're looking at 2023 and how that performed. Right here, I've got the HAR statistics pulled up. And so you can see right here on this trending graph, it's probably the best way to look at it, how we ended out last year. So December of 2023, where are we at? And you can see that the good thing to know is those trend lines are still going up. So even though we've had some dips here and there, overall, the Houston economy and the Houston housing market is actually still very strong, despite the interest rates having gone up last year in 2023. And they're on their way down right now. What you're noticing is that even with that dip, if you were to look at that chart there and go back towards right before the pandemic, we are still above the levels that we were at for home prices. So those have continued to rise over the last few years. Sales, if we were to scroll down and see that, if we go back to 2019, right before the pandemic, so let's say 2018, 2019, single family home sales are still right about where they were at the time right before the pandemic even really got into effect. And so we are still seeing a very strong housing market. We don't really have cause for concern here in terms of, is this a good place to move to? Do people still want to be in Houston? It's still very strong from what all the statistics are telling us. And what I would tell you guys actually that's interesting to note is our team at the Bridge Group, we are actually having the best January in terms of volume of sales and in terms of total transactions that we've ever had before as a team. And that's with interest rates having been a little bit high over the last year. And I think that is a testament to those rates coming down just a little bit. And there are a ton of people who are on the sidelines who have been waiting for these rates to come down just a little bit to make it a little bit more affordable, a little bit more comfortable. And now you're seeing a lot of buyers. I mean, we're getting calls, texts, and emails every single day from people who are wanting to go ahead and pick up that search again. So if you've been on the sidelines and maybe you're one of those people and you're wondering if now is a good time to be a home buyer, I always try to encourage people in a couple different ways. The first thing is, with real estate, it is always more important to buy and then wait rather than wait and then buy. Okay, because if you try to time the market, you're almost always going to lose. And people who bought their homes back in 2018, when interest rates were at a 3.75 or a 4% or a 5%, they got to live in that home for the last few years and they experienced that 200% appreciation on their home value. I just literally came from a listing appointment tonight. And this individual, she had bought her home in 2014 for $250,000. And we're going to be putting that house on the market for about $500,000. So she gained $250,000 in equity in her home because the values have continued to rise in the years that she's lived there. And she was blown away by that. And that's just one of countless stories that I can give you of people who bought their home when it wasn't necessarily the bottom where they were going to get the cheapest price possible or the lowest interest rate possible, but just by owning that property over time, she's going to get to reap those benefits. So if you, again, are somebody who's maybe been on the sideline wondering if, am I buying at a good time? trying to time where the bottom of the market is impossible. By the time interest rates get to a point where if they ever got into the fours, for example, by the time they reach that point, the market will be insane. The amount of people who will be trying to buy houses at that interest rate is going to be just like, it's going to feel like we're back where we were during COVID when the rates hit a 2.1 or a 2.2, because you have a lot of pent up demand and we still don't have enough houses for the people that want to buy them. So right now, I mean, looking at inventory levels, we're still at that 2 to 3 months of supply in most areas of Houston. That is still not enough homes for the amount of people that want to buy them. And so anytime you have a supply and demand issue like that, where there's not enough supply and a lot of demand, that's going to cause house prices to continue to go up. So if those rates come down and more buyers flood the market trying to move here, or try to buy, upgrade their home if they already live here, for example, all that's going to do is cause prices to go up even more. So if you're waiting for that perfect moment, I would actually say, and I would actually urge you to consider doing something before those rates get too low. If those rates continue to go down, let's say over the course of the next year, you can always refinance. You're not locked into that rate necessarily, but you're also not getting a bad rate. I'm seeing buyers right now. If I actually pull up Dave, your mortgage guy, he's one of our partners, and he actually published a weekly mortgage rate update. And I'm going to share it here with you because I think it's important for you to see. Let me pull it up right here on my screen. Right here. Take a look at this. Weekly mortgage rates for a 30-year mortgage are at a 6%. For a $400,000 home, you're at a 6% already. If you're on an FHA loan, you are already under 6% at this point. You're getting a 5.875. These are what people are looking for. These are the kind of numbers that we're hoping to see. We're already there. So by the time the news picks up on this, and conventional 15 years even better, but by the time the news picks up on this, it's too late. Everybody that you know is already going to be buying properties at that point. All the people on the sidelines are already making their moves and making those decisions now. So the longer that you wait, the more opportunity that there is, yes, to get a better rate, but now you're competing with more buyers. Now multiple offer situations start coming up again. We've had a few of our homes. We just had one go up recently in the Richmond area, which is just south of West Park Tollway, and there were 10 offers on that property in the first weekend. That's like what it was whenever COVID was happening. Unfortunately, you can't have the best of both worlds. Either you're going to be competing with a bunch of other people and but you're getting a great interest rate, but you're paying over market value, or you're paying out of pocket to outbid other people, or you're getting a good interest rate, maybe not the lowest possible, but a good interest rate. And right now, you still have the opportunity to negotiate on the price, to negotiate for credits, for repairs. Builders are still offering great incentives. Heck, some of these builders are still offering buy downs where you're getting a 2% or a 3% or 4% interest rate right now. You can get that right now in new construction. Builders are offering those. They've pre-negotiated these rates. They got them in this, basically because of the amount of homes they're building, they're bundling them all together. And so you're getting a great interest rate that they've already pre-negotiated. And they're still giving things like closing cost incentives, and you're still getting things like appliances. Right now, you're getting what I would say is as close to the best of both worlds as possible. So just going back to our statistics here, let's take a look at the weekly activity snapshot that HAR publishes. I'm going to pull it up here. So HAR published the weekly activity snapshot for January 23rd through the 29th. Okay, so this is last week. And so you can see right now, new listings are up 18.5%. So we're seeing a lot more activity right here at the start of the year, which would normally be considered a very slow time of the year. We're actually up compared to where we were at the same time last year. Pending is down just a little bit, but you're talking about 4.4%. This is not a huge dip. This is not an indicator that things are bad. We're just having a slightly slower start in terms of pending listings overall. This does not mean that is happening everywhere and in every market and every community. This is over all of Greater Houston. It's slightly down. When we're looking in terms of closings are up 4.5%. So in 1 week, Again, just looking at last week, because we don't have the data for all of January yet. That won't be out until next week. But if we're just looking at last week, closings are up 4.5%. Showings are up 8.2%. You can see right there, there's that bump that I'm talking about. We're experiencing it when we host these open houses. When our clients are reaching out to us requesting showings, we're feeling it right now. That increase in buyer demand, that increase in activity, and so we're seeing it live, boots on the ground. And so I'm encouraged that 2024 is looking like it's going to be a great year for real estate. So if you're considering whether purchasing in 2024 is right for your family, then again, shoot me a text, give me a call, reach out. I'd love to talk to you about what you and your family's plans are, your timeline, and figure out what area is best for you in Houston, and what are the new construction deals and the price ranges that might make sense for you and your budget. Connecting you with the right lender to get you that pre-approval get started. So that's what we do. We love having buyer consultations with people because it gives us an idea of exactly what you're looking for, so that we can go out and find it for you. We're not in the business of just, hey, send us an address and we'll write up a contract. We want to work for you. We want to go find that perfect home, and meeting with you and discussing it is going to be the best way for us to figure that out. Now, right here, I have the fresh report. So this is the first day of the month snapshot for January. So again, new listings are up. After the listings are up, the average list price is up. Right now, the average list price kind of in the Houston area overall, what we're seeing is right around that 400K mark. We're holding pretty steady at that. Fluctuating ever so slightly, but right around 400K is going to be the average price point across the greater Houston area. Obviously, there's going to be areas that are going to be much more expensive than that. But I would say in terms of if you're moving from out of state, for example, and you're moving from one of the east or the west coast areas, housing affordability is still better here than it is there. Lots of job growth, lots of opportunity, lots of businesses. Of course, Houston is a very business-friendly state. And we don't have state income tax, so that makes things a little bit better. Texas actually just passed a bill on the homestead exemption that is provided to all Texas homeowners. They used to not tax you on the first $40,000 of whatever your property value is. Now it's up to $100,000 before they start taxing you, and so that is creating a lot of savings for property taxes. It's one of the biggest kinds of legislator that's been passed of its kind related to housing and related to exemptions for people's primary home. So even then, again, you've got another example of opportunity and Texas really trying to be friendly to get people to move here. And I think that's why you're seeing that Texas and Florida really are the two states that have seen the most growth in terms of relocation and population changes moving from other places to a state. Texas and Florida are really the top two. And of the major cities in Texas, Houston and Dallas tend to be the top of those charts. Houston, Dallas, San Antonio tend to have a lot of population growth because of all that stuff. And if you haven't had a chance to see my most recent video where I actually go and do a deep dive of Katy, that's one of the most sought after suburbs in the city of Houston. So I actually did a deep dive on that, taking you around the city of Katy and also talking you through the city of Katy on a map and showing you where all the best communities are, where their amenities are, your location in terms of commute, and getting to things like the airport. So if you want to see a deep dive on those, check out my most recent videos on YouTube. All right, let's really quickly touch on some news here. This news came out on the Houston Chronicle very recently, yesterday, February 1st. Fulshear, the Fulshear, Brookshire, Simonton areas are rated as some of the Houston region's best-selling communities. Why is that? Fulshear, and let me show you on a map and where Fulshear is located. So if we zoom out here, all right, so the city of Houston, you're going to find that right here, okay? So here's the city of Houston. This is 610. You have the middle loop, which would be Beltway 8, and then you have the outermost loop, which is Highway 99, okay? Fulshear, technically the city of Fulshear is right here, okay? Not far away from Katy. You have Richmond down here, okay? You have Katy, which kind of occupies this area right here. So Fulshear, technically the city of Fulshear is right here, okay? And so when we're looking at the best-selling areas of Houston, this kind of area right here is Fulshear and the greater Fulshear area. Okay, you've got things like Cross Creek Ranch and Cross Creek West, which is the new section that's been opened up. You're seeing a lot of growth and development in that area. Brookshire, technically the city of Brookshire is over here. Okay, so just west of Katy, down I-10. So Fulshire, Brookshire, Simonton, these areas here, Simonton down here, these areas are within a 15 to 20 minute drive from the Katy area, for example. In terms of Houston, you're looking at about 45 minutes to an hour to get from Fulshire to Houston using West Park Tollway. So 45 minutes outside of the city of Houston, you have a ton of growth. There are so many new construction opportunities in this area because if you look at it on a map, if we were to just scroll in here and kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at here, if we scroll in and look at Fulshire, you see all this green? This is all land. That there's not really a whole lot out here. There is so much room for development out here. You've got a lot of rivers, so there's riverfront opportunities. Weston Lakes is a beautiful community with custom build on your own lot kind of areas. Fullbrook is a new master plan community. I'll show you that right here. Fullbrook is a new master plan community right outside of Weston Lakes. Lots of new development on either side of West Park Tollway. That's another area to look at. So some of your top neighborhoods here, you've got Cross Creek Ranch, and then Cross Creek West is not far away from that. So this puts you still not far away from everything. I mean, literally, there's so much new development in terms of commercial as well out in Fulshire. But anything that you need that's already in Katy, you're literally hopping on West Park Tollway and you're there within 15 minutes. There was not a whole lot out here in Fulshire for the longest time. I mean, I remember driving out there and thinking like, this is literally out in the country. But now there's so much stuff around it that you're very close to. And so again, if you're thinking of where do I want to move in Houston? What areas are seeing, where are other people wanting to move to? Fulshire's got to be on your list. And when I look at how many people are searching for Fulshire, the number of people searching for that is still very low. And I think that's because people who live here in the Houston area kind of know about Fulshire already, and they know that there's a lot of growth and a lot of development. But I think people outside of the Houston area really only know the big names. They know Katy, they know Cypress, they know the Woodlands, but they don't really know Fulshire. That's not a super big search topic, but I think Fulshire is really that hidden gem. A lot of people sleep on it, don't know about it, but Fulshire is where all that growth is, and you're getting beautiful homes built by great premier Texas builders, and you're right near all the amenities and have access to all the stuff, but just people outside of Houston just don't really know about it at this point. Brookshire, Simonton, even smaller, and definitely nobody outside of Houston is searching for that. But again, great areas, Waller County, so you've got access to everything that you need. And they're small little towns that are 10 extra minutes away from some of your major cities or major suburbs like Katy, but you're still getting all the same stuff that those areas have to offer. So I definitely think that those areas should be on your list to look at. So again, in terms of Houston and our housing market, what does 2024 look like? We're really expecting 2024 to, if these interest rates keep coming down as they're expected to, the Fed just came out again and didn't raise rates again for the third time in a row. All of that has led to a positive reaction in the market. And I think you're seeing a lot of home builders. I've been seeing reports of them feeling more confident in 2024 and starting up new construction plans again. They were dialing back a little bit as those rates were creeping up and they were just trying to sell the inventory they had. Now you're seeing a lot of new communities. I just saw Taylor Morrison just is starting a new 600 something home community. They bought like over 100 acres and they're building a new one. You're seeing a lot of these builders and developers are now buying up land again and starting new construction starts for new neighborhoods are starting up again. And I think that's because we're seeing that trend downward in interest rates, and we're expecting more of that in 2024. So as that happens, the more people are going to be on the lookout and are going to be trying to buy something. So again, reach out. Numbers right here on the screen. If you have questions, if you want to talk through what your plans are, what you're thinking, you want to get advice and guidance on the best places to move to and where the good schools are and where amenities are, that's what I'm here to help. My team and I at the Bridge Group love working with first-time home buyers, love working with people relocating from other states. I think last year and the year before, I helped like over 20 families, just me personally, moving from other states like New York and California and Florida. In fact, last year, I believe I helped 5 specific families coming from Miami. And so, yeah, we love that. We love being able to guide people in that process and to be a resource for them. So that's what I have in terms of an update for January. Again, we'll have more information coming out in February. If you have any questions, reach out below. I don't see any questions as of right now. So we'll go ahead and end the live, and we look forward to seeing you guys on our next market update coming up here pretty soon. And we'll see you in the next video.